Oh boy, we've got a lot to cover today, no doubt about it. We will be on the air shortly. I have, today's kind of like a test show. I have changed cameras, so I'm using a different camera today. So a little bit of a different look. So be patient with me as we go through today's show, which is also a test stream for some new streaming software I'm using, as well as a different camera angle. And what you're going to find is, I think, it's much better picture quality. And you get to see more of the room. I can move the camera around and stuff, but so we've got a lot to cover today. Let's see, what are we coming on? I came on a little early because I wanted to see the camera test right here. Okay, I can lower the camera slightly here. Let's lower and see what we do. Bit of a camera test. There we go. Well, thank you, Christine. So what do you guys think? You can see more of the room, and I'm actually using a high definition camera, which I'm not normally using. And we'll be on in about 90 seconds. But I'm going to start today with this Biden 60 Minutes interview. Yeah, I think you can notice a difference. This is something I've been toying with over the weekend, and today's the first day I'm using it. Well, I'm using the wide lens, so I don't have to stand right in front of the camera so quickly, and I think the camera quality will be much, much better. Okay. Yeah, I like it too. I've been doing some tests at home over the weekend. I don't like to do tests during the live stream. I've done some tests with like unlisted streams that no one can see. Well, good, thank you guys. All right, so I've got the seal of approval from you guys. There'll always be complainers, but you know, hey, that's YouTube, right? Okay. Here we go.
77. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, yes. It is Monday already. We have a lot to cover. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. Can you believe that? 46 years on the radio. That is crazy. And boy, do we have a lot to cover today. Did you guys catch Biden on 60 Minutes? Holy smokes. He sent a warning to Israel, which I'm going to get to first, which is insane. Israel does not need any warnings, especially from Joe Biden. So I'm going to cover that and a whole bunch more from this 60 Minutes interview that aired last night with Biden, which is really frightening what went on. And there's a lot of other things to cover, too. I don't know if I'll get into this on the air because I don't know how many of you care, but I did take over the weekend the Bright Line to Orlando and back, and it was not a bad experience. I don't know if I'll talk about that on the show or not, but I did like taking the Bright Line. It didn't get up to the fastest. I have an app on my phone that tells you how many miles per hour you're going, and it did get up to 113.7 miles per hour, which is pretty fast on a train, and you wouldn't know it. It wasn't rocking or shaking or anything at almost 114 miles an hour. I was a little surprised at that. I had a big bottle of water that was like half empty, and I was watching the water to see how much we were moving, and it was a perfectly smooth ride. So I don't know, maybe I'll talk about that later. I really like the Brightline. That's going to be my regular mode of transportation when I go to Orlando. I might, and when they finish at the Tampa, I might go to Tampa for the first time in forever. But let's get back to what's going on in this god-awful war. Now, as we saw last week, and it's continuing, is for the very first time ever, the American media, for the most part, are on the side of Israel while they're involved in a military action. This is unheard of. And one of the things I'm going to get into some details about later on that I talked about on my podcast over the weekend, MSNBC has done something that I'm shocked that MSNBC has done what they have done, and they're without a doubt going to get some blowback from it, although it's been a few days now and I haven't heard any response to it from anyone. But MSNBC took all of their Muslims hosts off the air. You know, I was talking last week, sharing some audio clips from MSNBC, and they were so pro-Hamas, it was sickening. And, you know, you figure because MSNBC is so liberal. And there was a story towards the end of the week, last week, that MSNBC's ratings had gone down a lot, like almost 40%. And then Friday afternoon, it was reported that MSNBC removed all of their Muslim hosts off the air. Of course, you know, scheduled vacations and all. When a war breaks out, you don't take vacation when you're in the media business. And that really shows you how much this country has turned towards Trump and the MAGA movement. You know, America has always been a majority conservative country. It just doesn't seem that way because the left have so much control over all media since the beginning of media. So liberals have been overrepresented in the media so much that people don't realize this. And Trump has just made it more obvious. The silent majority that Ronald Reagan used to talk about, that President Trump talks about oftentimes, is what has hit the media and made the American media pro-Israel during all this. Now there's some random people here and there, but MSNBC removing their Muslim host from their programs is huge. I'll pull up that story and go through it later in the program. But, you know, there are certain things that go on where there's just not two sides. There's not two sides to every issue, okay? And some of the anti-Israeli people in this country, including Joe Biden, are saying, well, you know, Hamas doesn't represent everyone in Gaza. Yeah, well, what percentage of the people in Gaza agree with Hamas? No government of any country represents everyone. Joe Biden doesn't represent me. I mean, and most of you either. You know, Joe Biden's view and outlook on pretty much every issue, I can't think of an issue that I agree with Joe Biden on. Not one. So what does that mean? Because Hamas doesn't represent every single person in Gaza? I wouldn't be so sure about that, by the way. And without a question, they got to represent 80%, 85%, if not 90% or more. So I don't understand why they say, well, you know, we shouldn't blame them because the majority of people don't support Hamas in Gaza, which is not true. Or they don't represent everyone. No one represents everyone. Even in this country, almost half the country always oppose whoever the president is, almost half. Sometimes half or more because of the Electoral College. So what does that mean? It means absolutely nothing. So the very frightening Joe Biden presidency has brought us nothing but just god-awful times. And here we are, as I was talking about on Friday, in a world war. And when we get back from our first break, I'm going to get into the 60 Minutes interview in detail, and we're going to break it down. We are involved in a world war right now. And that 60 Minutes interview, very frightening 60 Minutes interview with Joe Biden last night, makes me think that, Joe Biden relishes the war because there's so much money to be made on it. I was watching someone I know live stream somewhere last night. They were live streaming online, and they were talking to a veteran, and they thanked the veteran for their service, and the veteran said, "Well, thank you, and we're protecting America freedom, and I was doing that so you don't have to," and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, when is the last time the United States military took part in a military action that was preserving American freedom, American liberty? It seems in almost every single instance what the military is doing, and I'm not blaming the military, these are our corrupt public officials that are all on the take, but it seems that what our military is doing is not defending American freedom. If they were doing that, they would be guarding the southern border and taking back U.S. territory that's been overrun in Texas by the cartels. But it seems more that, to me, that the military is public / private contractors for the military-industrial complex so they can make money. That's what they're fighting for. They're fighting for the military-industrial complex to make lots of money, is what it seems like to me. And I didn't really thought about that too much before until I saw this veteran who was talking about, well, we're protecting America so you don't have to. And I can't remember the last time they protected America. And I'm not attacking servicemen and women. I'm not attacking veterans. I'm attacking our corrupt officials that run this country. So we've got a lot to cover, including what's going on in the Speaker of the House race and all that stuff. So don't go anywhere. We've got a busy show today. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be back right after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
All right. Yeah, I like this new camera that I'm using and everything. I think it's working great, guys. Yeah, I like it. And you get to see more of me because I can walk around a little bit more and I don't have the camera right in my face. And this is also, I'm using a 4K camera, so you can watch, depending on what device you're watching, you can watch the feed in 1080, which is the best video quality that you can stream in on YouTube. So you can be watching me right now in 1080 as opposed to what you're watching before. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Now, if you have not already done it, order your Mighty Manga Lion for Christmas. I'm sending out another batch today, every single day, except Saturday, because I left first thing in the morning on the Bright Line. But every single day, the last, week plus, I've been sending out shipments of the Mighty Manga Lion. And the link is pinned right there at the top of the chat. These are great Christmas gifts, and you'll love it. It's a great Christmas gift for yourself, for your significant other, your friends, your kids, and you'll love it. MightyMagaLion.com. There's a link in the video description as well as a link pinned in the live chat, but you can just go to MightyMagaLion.com and order yours. I've been hearing from a lot of you guys that have received your Mighty Manga Lions. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. And these, of course, are available exclusively through me. They're available nowhere else. And, in fact, this is the only Trump merch, anything like it, where he's wearing the MAGA hat, which is pretty cool, huh? So go to MightyMagaLion.com and order yours. That's right. Let me set him down over here. I take this guy all over the place because I never leave him here. There he is. All right, so let's get to the 60 Minutes interview now. Yeah, this is the camera I'll be using moving forward. I'm working so hard to cut back on my coffee. All right, we're coming back.
Back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.
All right, welcome back, one and all. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. It is Monday, the 16th of October. You know, this is the first weekday of Medicare open enrollment period for this year. And remember, Medicare open enrollment period, if you are a Medicare recipient, is the only time of year that you can make changes to your existing Medicare policy. That's right. And Debbie at I Will Advisors can help you no matter where you're located in the state of Florida. And her family have been with us here on the Steve Kane Show since 1994. And each and every year, Debbie and I Will Advisors review Steve's policy. We're telling you that Steve had a prescription that he needs that wasn't covered by his policy, and it was $2,000 a month. It was more than an ounce of gold. And that's a lot of money. Steve called Debbie at I Will Advisors. Boom, she took care of it. Now, the prescription is covered by his Medicare. Isn't that amazing? She can help you too. She'll make sure that your doctors, including your specialists, are covered next year, that your prescription medications are covered like she did with Steve. It's absolutely amazing. Give her a call, 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. That's 954-753-8080 for Debbie at I Will Advisors. All right, so let's get to this. So Biden did this interview with 60 Minutes last night, which was a really frightening interview. He couldn't even answer the questions. The guy from 60 Minutes is helping him answer the questions, and even 60 Minutes commented on how out of it he was. It's pretty bad when you got the liberal magazine show of record saying that the liberal Democrat president is out of it. We'll get to that, but he sent a warning to Israel, and I want to play this and talk about it first. They're asking him about Israel taking over Gaza.
Would you support Israeli occupation of Gaza at this point?
I think it'd be a big mistake. Look, what happened in Gaza, in my view, is Hamas and the extreme elements of Hamas don't represent all the Palestinian people.
Okay, so he said Hamas and the extreme elements of Hamas. Is there a part of Hamas that is not extreme? Isn't the entire organization extreme? What does he mean, the extreme elements of Hamas? There's no part of Hamas that is not extreme. And so far as they should not occupy Gaza, this is my thoughts on this, okay? I mean, and I think I'm right about this, and I welcome your thoughts on either side of this at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening, 1-888-465-2631. I think that the Palestinian movement is done from this point forward. I think it is over. This two-state solution has always been a bunch of nonsense. I know that the Biden White House are talking about a two-state solution. They've got a bunch of lefties who are educated in these left-wing indoctrination centers of the Ivy Leagues, and they were educated to hate Israel. There are Palestinians who live in all of the Arab countries. The only reason there's Palestinians inside these areas around Israel is to harass the Jews. And I believe that not only should Israel occupy Gaza, I think they should deport all Palestinians and just declare it Israel when this is all over. And I don't think that's a radical idea. You know, the Palestinians have one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to harass the Jews, and it's never going to end. And I remember so clearly when Gaza was handed over to the Palestinians by Israel, those who were opposed to doing that said that it's going to be a base of attack forever for the Palestinians to attack and kill Jews. And here we are. And everything they've done is so far beyond not just normal terrorism. What they've done are crimes against humanity. That's it. Crimes against humanity took place and are taking place. They won't let, Hamas won't let people flee. They're making them human shields so that they can get graphic footage and blame the Israelis for it. No, they should not be there, period. And when Biden says the extreme elements, the radical Hamas, there's no part of Hamas that is not radical. That's like saying, well, the radical branch of ISIS, the radical branch of Al-Qaeda. What part of Al-Qaeda and ISIS is not radical? And what he's doing by that, Joe Biden, is giving legitimacy to Hamas as an organization and just alleging that it's been taken over by a radical fringe group. It's insane what he said. Now, so far as telling Israel not to occupy Gaza when this is over, who does he think he is? Why should they not occupy Gaza? They need to take Gaza back and hold it forever and ever and ever for what has happened here. Now, our number is 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Let's take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian, and this is Baltimore. I agree with you 150%.
Oh, awesome. Well,
absolutely. The squad is now calling for hundreds of thousands of Palestinians to be taken in as refugees in America, and so is the UN. They want us to take them in. All these anti-Semites, to bring them into our country, that is ridiculous. So the Republicans are introducing the Gaza Act.
You know, see, what's happened here, Obama was involved in major relocations of Muslims, okay? And look what we have. We have Tlaib and we have Ilhan Omar because of such a thing. They keep doing that. We're going to have an entire caucus in the House, like like the Black Caucus. We'll have like the Palestinian caucus.
Well, I think that's part of the plan.
It is. Absolutely it is.
Isn't that a part of the plan? And that's why the southern border is open. I mean, we probably
have
already.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That is their plan, and it's outrageous. No, none of them. Listen, there's Palestinians in all of these Arab countries. Send them to Syria, send them to Saudi Arabia, wherever, but not here.
Yeah, that's their element. That's their neighbor. They speak. Many of them speak the same language. They understand each other. They're all equal opportunity haters. So they all should live together. But for them to bring them here, just the thought of it. And as far as Joe Biden, I don't know what he's talking about. The Israelis gave Gaza to
yeah, and that was a big mistake.
And I never seen Palestine mentioned in the Bible. Have you?
Well, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of, the United States isn't either. So, but the thing about it.
Havoc and killing people because of religion.
Well, maybe not because of religion, but we have a proxy war going on against Russia and Ukraine right now because of this senile old coot, Joe Biden, and his war profiteer cabinet.
Well, another story for another time. You're right about that too. But the Palestinians, as far as I'm concerned, they need to go.
Yeah, not here.
And what you said about them standing out, they're the ones that's passing out candy. They've been doing this for years, celebrating when Israelis are killed.
What Barbara mentioned is something that is forgotten because, I don't forget it. Barbara hasn't forgotten it, but they've tried to wipe it out of history. When on 9/11, when the World Trade Centers were collapsing, CNN cut to a live camera in the Palestinian territories, and the Palestinians were cheering the collapse of the buildings, and they had a street party throughout their entire area, throwing candy out to the kids in celebration of the World Trade Centers coming down. And that's been wiped away from history because it interrupts with their narrative. These are the people that they want to relocate here.
Absolutely. And anyone who lives where anybody is represented by the squad, that's Jamal Bryan and Jamal Bowman and Ilhan, all of them.
Yeah.
You'll need to get out and vote and get rid of it.
Yeah. So what? I appreciate the call, Barbara. Take care. Yeah. So what Biden wants is to bring tens of thousands of Ilhan Omars here. That doesn't sound like a good idea. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
I'm coughing because my throat is dry. Ugh. No, just my throat's dry. I didn't drink enough liquids this morning, not enough water.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1, Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the
Let's see.
best patio store in Palm Beach County.
Oh, yes.
Where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
Oh, man. And guys, don't forget to go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane and do your Christmas shopping. You know, if you go to mypillow.com, and you will see something that is brand new. It is the designer My Pillow towel set. It's a brand new product. It's let me pull it up because I just learned about this morning, and it's just $49.98. It's made out of that premium Shapur cotton, and it comes in, let's see here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 colors, and it's half off. It's normally $99.98 and just $49.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout. Designer My Towel 6-piece set, premium Shapur cotton, normally $99.98, just $49.98 with the promo code Kane at checkout. So it's a very good deal. And those are, I'm telling you, anything you buy from My Pillow is great for a gift for Christmas for anyone on your gift giving list. And every time you use our promo code Kane, you're not just supporting Mike Lindell, you're supporting all of our content too. The standard My Pillow towel set are just $29.98 with our promo code Kane. So it's huge sales there. Always pray for peace, JP. No doubt about that.
They're full of energy after a long day, reduced their risk of heart disease, sexual vigor and excitement, great, sleeping the way they should without disturbances, and reducing their symptoms of age. Our all-natural hormone optimization therapy is precise, easy, and effective from day one. Office visits are usually less than 5 times per year, and the cost is only
Trump is not upset with Israel. Don't let them lie. Please. if Trump was upset with Israel, that's all the media would be talking about. They would jump on that. The country is so behind Israel. If Trump was mad at Israel, that's all they would talk about to try to turn the country against Trump. Believe me.
Years on the
All right, welcome back. Call us on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show, Monday morning. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff, what's up?
Hey, there's no such thing as a Palestinian, and I know you know that. They are displaced Jordanians and other Arabs from other states that they don't want, and they threw them together in that area and try to call them Palestine. There's no such thing as a true Palestinian.
No, you're right. And the purpose is, their purpose is to harass Jews and try to run them out of Israel.
And on top of that, Hamas uses them as pawns. So, in other words, they'll put headquarters of terrorists under hospitals or other places where women and children are, or surround them with women and children, hoping Israel will bomb them to say, look what Israel did. And sometimes they've actually bombed them, women and children themselves, and then put it on the news, and the complete stream news media around the world says, look what Israel did. And it's all a bunch of lies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, you know, Hamas, which of course is a front group for Iran, you know, what they've always done with the Palestinians is they try to pass themselves off as a charitable organization. They build hospitals and schools and things like this, and it's all nonsense.
All propaganda.
Yeah, that's right.
And, you remember, Israel started the day that God called Abraham to leave his family and land and go to a promised land flowing with milk and honey to his descendants, and forever God said he was giving them that land. And Abraham had Isaac, Isaac had Jacob, Jacob had the 12 sons, which became the 12 tribes, which went in and conquered the land, and God said that was their land forever. And God said in Genesis 12:3 to Abraham, I will bless those that bless you, and I will curse those that curse you. And look at all those nations around Israel that want to destroy it. They live like third-rate countries.
Well, you know, when you start talking about the Bible to Democrats, they'll deny this, okay? But the Democrats don't believe the Bible is the Word of God. They think the Bible is a book of fairy tales.
That's right. And as far as the Republican Party, that we always believed in the Bible, in the Son of God, and that the Constitution was built or based on the Word of God, and all of our laws came from the Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
So we have a deep history of Christianity, and that's what they try to undermine in America when they took God out, prayer, and the Bible.
And what do you think about I remember when they did that. What do you think about Biden talking about the radical fringe of Hamas? Like, isn't all of Hamas radical? What's he talking about, Joe Biden?
You said exactly what was right. Hamas is nothing but an Iranian front, because they have promised, if they could, to wipe out the little Satan, which they call Israel, and the great Satan, which they call America. And
that's right.
Said they will, when they can, do that. So from that basis, we cannot deal with Iran other than the leading state sponsor of terrorists, our enemy, and Hamas and Hezbollah and all of them. They are enemies of the state of Israel and us.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And, you know, here we are days into this, a week into this. You know, the Biden White House has refused to say whether or not Iran has gotten that $6 billion yet. They won't say yes or no, which means yes.
I heard Congress was trying to stop it, or at least delay that.
My guess is they've already got it. I would say they've already got it, because they won't say either way if they've gotten it or not, which to me means yes, they've gotten it.
I agree with that. And you can't deal with these people other than as terrorists.
That's right.
The only way. And Gaza, I believe Israel, if they don't take over that land, it's just going to be a continuation.
Well, I may be wrong. I may be wrong. But, and I've been saying this since last Monday, I believe the Palestinian movement is done forever now. You know, this whole idea of a two-state solution, having Palestine and Israel next to each other, I think that is all over forever now. The only problem is it looks like when this settles, they're going to get rid of Netanyahu, and they could get some liberal government in Israel, and then all of a sudden they start dealing with the terrorists again as if they're legitimate.
Benjamin Netanyahu is Israel's Trump, I believe. He is one cup cookie. You don't mess with Israel when he's prime minister. That man will immediately take out.
Oh yeah,
needed.
Well, they're starting this thing that is just nonsense. They say, well, how could the intelligence mishap have been an accident? They're trying to turn this into a conspiracy, like Netanyahu allowed this to happen so he could do this. That's nonsense. There's no way Netanyahu would allow to happen what happened to those families and kids at that music festival and in the surrounding towns. No way.
But the sad thing is, our president and all the Democrats have opened up our border to infiltrate us with terrorists and other bad people.
Why? How many Palestinians do the Democrats want to relocate to America? They're talking about over 100,000.
It was some ridiculous number. Cannot do that.
That's insane. I mean, when you look at not just what's going on over there, you look at Ilhan Omar and Tlaib and their reactions to these murders against Israeli civilians. You want to bring 100 and something thousand more Tlaibs to America and resettle them and get 5 more Tlaibs in the House of Representatives? That doesn't sound too smart.
No, it doesn't. And the same problem we have with liberals and the socialist, progressive socialists, which I believe they're full communists now, they are dealing with that in Israel. They have a bunch of liberals that want to appease their enemy.
That's right.
When you draw a line and say, listen, you're either for America or for Israel, they say, you're not being open-minded or you're not coming to the table. Well, you call black, black, and white, white. Evil is evil, good is good. And that's where we're standing right now. We're standing against evil not only in our country, but all over the world. And Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East.
That's right. It is. It absolutely is. And so and Biden's very happy with having a 2-front war now, Ukraine and Russia, and this. This is crazy. When I hear him talk, I don't hear him say anything about cooling things off. He wants total war.
The only people that planned and attacked this was Iran, Hamas, and using the Palestinians as guinea pigs to get the world pissed off at Israel.
Yeah.
If we help Israel, they're going to blame us. But I'll tell you what, I'll stand on God's word in Genesis 12:3. We're going to bless Israel, and most of Americans believe that and will do that.
Absolutely. All right, Jeff, take care. Great call. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Very good call from Jeff today. Although Jeff's calls are always good. 1-888-465-2631. So let me get back to this 60 Minutes interview. 60 Minutes is even acknowledging that Biden is physically and mentally not capable. Listen to this. This is 60 Minutes last night describing the Biden interview.
As we spoke to the president, his Secretary of State was in Israel. His defense secretary was at a NATO meeting on Ukraine. America's oldest president seemed tired from directing all of this.
Okay, now, there's little left-wing spin there from 60 Minutes. He's always tired, and who says he's directing anything, right? I mean, when has Biden not been tired since he has been president? Now, he talked about, I'm going to, 2 clips here. Hold on, let me see here. Let me play the clip I played. Okay, let me play. This is the first clip I played where he warns Israel not to occupy Gaza. But listen to what he says again at the end about Hamas.
Would you support Israeli occupation of Gaza at this point?
I think it'd be a big mistake. Look, what happened in Gaza, in my view, is Hamas and the extreme elements of Hamas don't represent all the Palestinian people.
Okay, Hamas and the extreme elements of Hamas. Now, again, all of Hamas is extreme, okay? There's no moderate Hamas. There's no conservative Hamas. There's no restrained Hamas. But in that same interview with 60 Minutes, Biden is talking about MAGA Republicans and Republicans. Listen.
Look, this is not your father's Republican Party. 30% of it is made up of these MAGA Republicans who are maybe... Democracy is something they don't look at it the same way you and I look at democracy.
Okay, I mean, he's I wouldn't say half asleep. He's completely asleep there. Okay, this is not, the MAGA Republicans, this is not your father's Republican Party. I'll agree with that. Our father's Republican Party was a party of losers, and we got a party of winners now. But when you hear Biden talk about MAGA Republicans and the Republican Party, and Hamas and radical Hamas, to me, now, I'll throw this out to you, then we'll break and we'll come back with some more calls, but isn't Biden, in his mind, equating Hamas and MAGA? MAGA is extreme republicanism, extreme conservatism, in his mind. So is he comparing MAGA to these radical fringes that he described of Hamas? It sounds like he is to me. I want to ask you that, and this question as well. And by the way, our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. If Biden were given a choice, which choice, I'm going to give you two examples. If Biden were given a choice, which one would he get rid of? If he could wave a wand today, Joe Biden, and get rid of Hamas or get rid of MAGA Republicans, which one would he rid the earth of? Hamas or MAGA? 1-888-GO-CANE-1. What do you think? Which one of those two would Biden most like to rid the earth of? MAGA Republicans or Hamas? We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Brian Craig here with a question for seniors and those who care about them.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Access to a healthcare advocate at the touch of a button. Would that make life easier for you? You can with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will help you set up doctor's appointments, help with your pharmacy, even deal with your pharmacist to make sure that you have your prescriptions. They'll help you find a doctor, including a specialist. If you've been billed improperly by a doctor's office or a hospital, they can help you with that too. They'll even be your advocate when you're in the hospital to make sure you get the care you need and the care you deserve. And that's just the beginning of what they do. I Will Advocates takes care of all Steve Kane's healthcare issues too, and they can do the same for you. I Will Advocate clients are family, and they go to bat for their family when you need them the most. Call Debbie at I Will Advocates right now. Toll free 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326.
So what do you guys think? Which would Biden rather get rid of, Hamas or MAGA Republicans? Now, this is my new camera, and I'm also using a third-party app to live stream on. And you're seeing today here in perfect 1080. This is the best video quality that you can live stream with, and I think it looks pretty darn good. I like it. Yeah. Awesome. Now don't forget, guys, Order your Mighty Mega Lion. I've been sending shipments out with my wife Kathy every day except Saturday because I took the Bright Line to Orlando and back on Saturday. I'll be sending more out today. There's a link in the description of the video. There's a link pinned to the chat, or you can just go to mightymagalion.com and order yours. These are great Christmas gifts available exclusively through me at mightymagalion.com. These are not available anywhere else, and they are limited edition, okay? We have ordered them and had them made in advance, and once they're gone, they're gone. And they're very high quality. I've been hearing from so many of you that have received yours, and people love them. And when you get it, you can tell it's very high quality. Even the stuffing inside is very high quality. I live stream on my iPhone. I've got the iPhone 14 Pro. And I'm using the back-facing camera. Here we go. We're coming back.
Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, welcome back. Call us on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. I want to talk about Lighthouse Medical Center. Lighthouse Medical Center have their incredible treatment that will rid you of your neuropathy symptoms. It's absolutely amazing. It worked on Steve Kane and rid him of his neuropathy symptoms, and many of you out there, too, I've heard from. And it's amazing. And they have a new treatment for hair restoration. And I went over to Lighthouse Medical last week and watched this procedure performed on a patient who is suffering from hair loss. And it was a female patient. Women are not candidates for hair transplant surgery. And what they offer for hair restoration at Lighthouse Medical is non-surgical and non-invasive. And you know what? It works. So if you're losing your hair, both men or women, call Lighthouse Medical. Now, they still help you with your neuropathy, guys. They haven't stopped doing that. But this is something else that they do. It's non-surgical, non-invasive, and it works. It's absolutely amazing. And, guys that decide that they're going to be Mr. Clean, I can't imagine. I'm blessed that I have not lost one hair on my head. I've been lucky that way. But that's not the case with most of the guys I know. And so many of the guys I've grown up with, they've decided that Mr. Clean is how they want to look. And I would not want to look like Mr. Clean, I must tell you. If I were losing my hair, I'd be over at Lighthouse Medical and talk to them about hair restoration and get my hair back. And you women out there, I know it's tough. It's tough on the women too. So it's in fact more difficult for women when you're suffering with hair loss because you don't have the option of going the Mr. Clean look. And shaving your head, in particular on white guys like me, you know what you look like when you're a white guy like me and you shave your head? You look like an alien. The back of the head, it's not a good look. Especially on white guys. And I can say that because I'm a white guy. So call Lighthouse Medical. It's always a no-charge consultation, by the way, if you mention you heard them on the radio. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. I can hear you in the background. Once. Twice. All right, that's it. Oh, I was just hanging up on you. You made it just in time.
Yeah, I want to agree with Richie with all that he said.
No, that was Jeff, not Richie. That was Jeff, not Richie.
Okay, Jeff.
But every time someone mentions Richie's name, someone gets a call and say, "Look, they missed me. The show can't go without my name being mentioned." So, it's fine, though. I don't care. He's got to have something to live for. Anyway.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm very worried about the situation. This country is being transferred into something I don't recognize.
That's true.
If we import more Talibs into this country, we're going to become so anti-Semitic and so racist.
Well, what they're trying to do is wipe out American culture. Is what they're trying to do, and that's the way of it. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just what they're trying to do. And I mean, through the southern border, and now they think, oh, we got this new scheme. We can use this war in Israel, and we can relocate all these Palestinians and get 2 or 3 more congressional seats somewhere with 2 or 3 more Tlaibs, and have the Palestinian caucus in the House of Representatives. And that's scary.
It is. It's terrifying because these are evil, evil people. Like Jeff said, they're not. None of them are moderate. They're extremists, and they think nothing of. They want to take the Jews off.
You know what it's like when you talk about the Palestinians, okay? And this isn't necessarily their fault. I'm not talking about Hamas. I'm talking about Palestine. These are people that for generations and generations have been brainwashed, and you can't bring people that are 100. You know, it's like after the Second World War, if you would have brought 200,000 Nazis and relocated them to America, what would you have? You'd have a Nazi community, right? You can't do it. When people are brainwashed a certain way and you import them into the United States, you're going to have nothing but trouble.
Exactly. And I hope people will wake up and realize this. And we have a lot of Jewish people who unfortunately have supported the Democrat Party, but I think they're waking up and realizing that these people are not their friend. They better wake up because it's not only dangerous to Jewish people, but it's also dangerous to the United States. We will become a pariah nation if we're going to keep importing the wrong kind of people who want to exterminate other people. We're in trouble.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I appreciate your call. And very good calls today, by the way. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE1. 888-465-GO-CANE1. I want to pull up a story here that I was going to get to later, but it's relevant to what the caller said. So bear with me as I look for this story, because I saw a story this morning that just terrified me at the University of Massachusetts. Did you hear about this story? Chilling moment. Pro-Palestinian University of Massachusetts students surround a reporter and demand to know her ethnicity and threaten her with lawyers for covering their protest. Listen to this. If you're on hold, by the way, stand by. Pro-Palestinian college activist harassed a journalist covering their protest and allegedly demanded to know her ethnicity, meaning are you a Jew, is what that means, as tension on U.S. campuses continue to escalate in the wake of the Middle East conflict. Casey Dillon, a video journalist with Fox News, said she was targeted after leaving an anti-Israel protest at the University of Massachusetts Amherst campus. As I was leaving, 2 guys kept asking me my ethnicity, she tweeted on Thursday. Now, again, that means they're asking her if she's a Jew. When I got into my car, I was approached by a group of protesters demanding to know my address and phone number. The aggressive exchange comes as pro-Palestinian groups across America sparked outrage at their support for Hamas. This is a brutal attack that killed 1,300 Israelis. Numbers are much higher now. And I have some audio that she took that was at the very end. Dillon shared footage of the aftermath of the confrontation where the college activists are seen demanding to have her number. And let me pull this up. I mean, this is really scary. She should not have even told them her name, which she did. I was going to get to this later, so I don't have it queued up, but it fits in to that last caller. Okay, here's the audio. And this is just the end. And she's surrounded by these girls, and they're wearing like the Yasser Arafat headpiece, and they're very threatening. I'm not sure if it was a parking lot or a parking garage.
Not have my number. Okay, this is a public campus. How can I contact you for legal reasons? There's no legal reasons to do it. I gave you my name. You can go look at the website. I don't have your name. What's your name? I'll give it to your friend over there. Say it again. My name is Cassie Dillon. Cassie Dillon? Cassie Dillon. Okay. You can look me up and contact me that way. I'll have my lawyers contact you that way. All right, okay. See you later. Have a terrible day.
Okay, have a terrible night. And I watched that little exchange. There's photographs. I tweeted this story. It is frightening. She shared footage of the aftermath of the alleged confrontation where the college activists are seen demanding to have her number, which I just played. "You cannot have my number," she fires back. One of the protesters asks her how she can contact her for legal reasons. Another activist who appeared to record the hostile interaction then joins in and demands for the reporter to repeat her name, which she should not have done, and Casey Dillon needs to be under protective custody. This is a very frightening intimidation. See, this is the problem when you have people that are not Americanized and live in an un-Americanized community into our country. They don't understand our culture or our ways. Dillon, this is this Fox News reporter, said she had 2 security guards with her at the protest and said she was just filming. "I didn't even speak to anyone who followed me to the garage." Okay, so they stalked her to a garage. The journalist who was previously the U.S. news editor for Jewish News Syndicate and worked for Nikki Haley also posted an Instagram promotion of the protest, which was posted by the university's Students for Justice in Palestine group. And it was this day of resistance that she was covering. And when I tweeted this article, and that audio I played, you can see the video, and there's some still photographs. These Palestinian girls in the Yasser Arafat headpiece, I don't know what you call that pattern, but it's what Arafat used to wear. They are so confident that they are in the right to ask someone whether or not they're a Jew. And don't let them say, "Oh, what's your ethnicity?" They mean, "Are you a Jew?" That's exactly what that question means. It doesn't, she's a white girl, she's white, and they're asking, "Are you a Jew?" Since when do you ask people if they're a Jew in the United States? These are scary times. Very scary times. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air. We have 1 minute till our break.
Okay, 3 points. Biden wants to destroy MAGA.
More than Hamas.
No, he wants to destroy MAGA.
Not Hamas.
Not Hamas, no.
Well, that's backwards.
No, Joe Biden wants to destroy MAGA.
Mm-hmm.
We're more of a threat to him than Hamas.
Wow. Yeah, I agree with you. It's scary, isn't it?
Yes. Number 2, all these LGBTQRST people, they're doing protests for Palestine, for Hamas. The thing is, they are radical Muslims. They don't agree in gay people.
No, they kill them. They stone them to death and throw them out of buildings in the Middle East.
Correct. And they're like, yes, the poor, whatever.
Well, we got to run for our break, but good points. Thanks for the call. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian, back after this break.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Robe Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Robes, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created. Here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. That cold front, first of the season, passed across South Florida yesterday. So as a result, we're starting out in the 60s this morning, down about 5 or 6 degrees over the last 24 hours. And we'll see daytime highs today with bright sunshine and low humidity in the upper 70s. I'm WPBF 25 First Warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw. Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Emergency vehicles over still blocking the off-ramp right lane along the I-95 southbound ramp to Donald Ross Road. Be sure to use caution on the approach to the scene. I-95 heading northbound after Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, a disabled vehicle not cleared from the right lane and pushed over to the right shoulder. Also further south in Broward County, on the I-95 northbound ramp to Davie Boulevard, a disabled vehicle is blocking the off-ramp left lane there. This report is sponsored by Boost Infinite. If you're thinking of getting the latest iPhone, you need to stop and check out the amazing wireless offer from Boost Infinite.
Yeah, I'm going to use the system I'm using now. I'm going to continue to use for my live streams in the morning because I think it's pretty darn good. I think it looks better. I think it sounds better too. And get to see a little bit more, and I can walk around more. And the camera's not too close to my face.
Merry Christmas, baby, December 15th. Then get ready to laugh out loud with comedy shows with Andrew Dice Clay doing 2 shows, Jackie Marlene and Jimmy Fallon all in December. For more information, go to ppkennelclub.com.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News Update.
ABC News now. I'm Tom Rivers. With Israel apparently about to invade Gaza, there's escalating concern about hate crimes in the U.S. Chicago suburb of Plainfield, Illinois, authorities say a landlord stabbed a child to death and critically wounded his mother because they're Muslim.
Investigators say 71-year-old Joseph Zuba targeted the boy and his mother in their Plainfield, Illinois home because of their Muslim faith. The boy suffering 26 stab wounds. His mother stabbed at least a dozen times.
Oh boy. Yeah, I got more clips of Biden from this interview, which are just frightening as hell.
The landlord is charged with first-degree murder and hate crime charges. President Biden calling the stabbings horrific.
Palestinians in Gaza crowded into hospitals and schools today, seeking shelter and running low on food and water. Hundreds of thousands have fled their homes ahead of Israel's expected invasion. This is ABC News.
You know that Big Burger detergent jug is 80% water, right? 80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big. If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients. Pass me the Intercom, thank you. Don't pay for water, pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Sloman's and their free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation is here for a limited time only. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and even you get a doorbell camera. Dial 833-283-5050 to get this limited time offer. A free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloman Shield. And that's not all. Sloman's going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So here's the recap. You're getting an LED touchscreen pad, 10 contacts, backup battery, and service plan. So what are you waiting for?
We'll be back shortly, guys.
And you'll get a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. That's 833-283-5050 now to get your free doorbell camera and free home security system. 1-833-283-5050. Shield your home, the Sloman Shield.
Love the outdoors and the open road? Don't miss RV Out, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Hosted by Giant Recreation World second generation owner and CEO Larry McNamara and his co-host Blaine Adams. RV Out, Saturday mornings 10 a.m. right here on the True Oldies channel.
On the air since 1977. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, we are back. Callers on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. Our number toll free 1-888-GIL Kane 1-888-465-2631. So Biden, what I've been talking about in the first hour, Biden did a really frightening interview with 60 Minutes, and I've got a couple of clips that I've not played yet that I want to go through, and this one here, I cannot believe that 60 Minutes aired this one. I'll play it for you without setting it up, and then we'll talk about it. Hold on, guys. Every once in a while, I got to prove to you we're on live. Here we go.
There's limited fighting already on the northern Israeli border, and I wonder, what is your message to Hezbollah and its backer, Iran?
Don't
come across the border. Don't escalate this war.
That's right.
I mean, what the heck is that? Biden didn't know what he didn't want them to do. And the reporter from 60 Minutes answered the question. Why don't you just interview a cardboard cutout of Joe Biden and ask it the questions and answer them for yourselves? I've never seen anything like this. Could you imagine if this happened with President Trump or Ronald Reagan? You know, when Democrats, they set the stage on this. When Democrats were getting panicked over Ronald Reagan. At the time, he was the oldest president. He was, I believe he was 69 when he won, and then 70 by Inauguration Day. Or he just turned 70 before. It was one of those others. But he had just turned 70 around the time of the inauguration. And they were talking about him having Alzheimer's then. And they've been telling us, for as long as I can remember, that he had slight Alzheimer's at the end of his presidency, which is not true. I've seen some interviews that Ronald Reagan did in his last weeks in office. He did a whole bunch of interviews, one-on-one, sharp as a tack, just like Trump. Joe Biden did not even know where he was going with this. The interview had gone on too long, and he was tired, and he was fading. Whatever they gave him to pep him up was wearing off. And I've never seen something like this before.
There's limited fighting already on the northern Israeli border, and I wonder, what is your message to Hezbollah and its backer, Iran?
Don't
come across the border. Don't escalate this war.
That's right.
Okay, so President Trump, let me pull this up, has responded on TruthSocial to this 60 Minutes interview. I mean, the guy's not fit to do a 60 Minutes interview. And we've got a two-front war of his doing, by the way. How can he run a war, now a two-front war, when he can't even answer a question? So President Trump posted this on TruthSocial. 60 Minutes should be ashamed of themselves. They just interviewed crooked Joe Biden and led him along like a lost child. That's exactly right. Each question contained the answer. It was so weakly and apologetically asked that it was a joke, which should be considered a campaign contribution to the Democrat Party. Why should CBS get free public airwaves for this highly partisan show, which never apologized to me for the mistakes they made on the laptop from hell? They are protecting Biden, even though he is the most corrupt and incompetent president in the history of the United States. And listen, this isn't just a disagreement over policy. He can't complete a thought, Joe Biden. And in that interview, when he said, your message, don't, he didn't know what he didn't want them to do. You can tell. He's faded out. Back to Trump's on Truth post. The Carter administration looks absolutely brilliant by comparison. The only thing the Biden regime does well is go after crooked Joe's political opponent, me. But even that will fail. The Middle East, Ukraine, inflation, bad economy, the open border, horrendous Afghanistan, embarrassment, gas prices, our great auto worker death march, and so much more make crooked Joe a total disaster for our once great USA. MAGA, Make America Great Again. I mean, I've never seen a reporter finish the questions for someone like that, and think it was okay. So here's 60 Minutes asking Joe Biden about this two-front war that he's gotten us in, Ukraine against Russia and Israel.
Are the wars in Israel and Ukraine more than the United States can take on at the same time?
We're the United States of America, for God's sake.
See, I mean, you hear how he's dropping whole parts of words and slurring his speech? It's because he's doped up on something. You know, all medications have a side effect, and this side effect is he's crashing at this point.
The United States can take on at the same time.
We're the United States of America, for God.
The United States of America. And this United States of America isn't misspeaking. He can't complete sentences, he can't complete thoughts, and he can't complete words. This is dangerous. Now, I know Willie Brown's girlfriend is an awful choice. She's the vice president, and that's who would become president if they use the 25th Amendment to get him out of office because his mental capacity is so far gone. But this is dangerous. At least she's got her mind and can, well, what little mind she has.
Ukraine more than the United States can take on at the same time.
We're the United States of America, for God's sake. The most powerful nation in the history, not in the world, in the history of the world. The history of the world. we can take care of both of these and still maintain our overall international defense. We have the capacity to do this, and we have an obligation to. We are the essential nation, as to paraphrase the former Secretary of State. And if we don't, who does?
Okay. You know, what's missing from that interview, he doesn't talk about protecting our country. He says that we can handle a two-front war, which has happened right now, and protect our international defenses. Well, what about our national defenses? This country is being invaded right now. In fact, in this entire interview, not once does Joe Biden mention anything about American people. Not the American people, or no. He's always talking about others, not us. Here they asked Joe Biden if he is going to run for re-election.
Are you sure that you want to run again?
Yes, because I'm sure. Look.
You hear that? He starts to answer, and then he goes a different direction because he can't keep his train of thought straight. He starts a sentence, then he says, stops, looks, and goes into another direction because he lost his train of thought.
Are you sure that you want to run again?
Yes, because I'm sure. Look, when I ran, I said the world's at an inflection point. The world's changing, but we have an opportunity to make it. So imagine if we were able to succeed in getting the Middle East put in place where we have normalization of relations. I think we can do that. Imagine what happens if we, in fact, unite all of Europe and Putin is finally put down where he cannot cause the kind of trouble he's been causing. We have enormous opportunities.
Okay, yeah. I mean, my goodness. Another example of him talking about other countries, other continents, not our country, not our people, other people. Americans are not even on his radar. And why is that? You know, mainly because anything that you need in America is already built into the system. Anything he does overseas requires new spending measures and new authorizations, and that's where they can steal the money from, okay, and get his 10%. This is insane, this interview. And I must say, it's one of the most frightening interviews that I've ever heard with any president of the United States. I've never heard an interview with a president of the United States who was so out of it mentally as that. And, you know, like when Bill Clinton was president, I know there were some incidents, but that was a relatively peaceful time. This world is in chaos, and all of the chaos is because of the instability the world is going through because of him. And, you know, I don't make fun of people that have cognitive issues, but my goodness, you put somebody like that in charge of the country? Someone who wears adult diapers, who can't complete a thought in a single sentence, who does interviews, and they have to give him cues for the answers by having the answers within the question, or even if that doesn't work because he's so out of it, to answer the question for him? It's very dangerous. These horror stories that you're hearing of the dead in Israel from the Hamas attack are because of him. We may have the most powerful military, but we have no leadership that's coherent to use that military. The instability is what causes all of these things, including the economic troubles we're having, including our southern border. This is the most frightening time, I think, more so than even 9/11. In the aftermath of 9/11, at least as bad as Bush and Cheney are with their bloodlust and war criminal background, at least they had a goal of protecting people here at home in the United States before they went and did things elsewhere. All right, we'll take our first break of the second hour. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE1, 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-CANE1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
If you're suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Corey Hennessy, DC, Innate Healthcare.
Dr. Hennessy, what is neuropathy? Peripheral neuropathy is actually nerve damage to the feet and legs. And what are the symptoms? The major symptoms of neuropathy
today to schedule your nerve damage screening. This screening will tell you if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe that there's nothing that can be done. End-stage neuropathy means people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. Call 954-633-7003. The first 25 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening.
Ramaswamy is about to fade away. Hey, Pensacola. Welcome. Yeah, I think you guys should notice that the picture quality is much better with what I'm the new. I'm using a third-party streaming app. What I normally stream on is the YouTube app.
Anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. If you're on hold, stand by. You know, here we are on Monday, and I know I'm much more active on the weekends than I am during the week doing physical things, and I know most of you are too. So if you're waking up this morning and you're in pain, if you're achy, if you're not feeling too good, go see Dr. Appleton. He's my chiropractor. He wants to be your chiropractor too. Go talk to him about his laser wave pain treatment. Go in today. Appointments aren't necessary. Walk-ins are welcome. The laser wave pain treatment works on so many different types of pain. Rotary tears, herniated disc, chronic pain, acute pain, sciatica, fibromyalgia, strains and sprains, arthritis, bursitis, work injuries, sports injuries, knee conditions, back pain, neck pain. It's absolutely amazing. I'm going to give you his number, and when you call, by the way, they will text directions to your cell phone if you need them. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonChiro.com. Again, the number 954-973-0710. Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, you're right with this guy. That interview is scary. That 60 Minutes interview is a scary prospect. It'd be bad enough if he was just corrupt. But this guy is not only corrupt, but he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's talking about 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Shaking hands with people that aren't there and this, that, and the other. But this is really dangerous.
Yeah, and the Democrats, you know, listen. By the way, thanks, Mike, for the call. Every incident that's going on, everyone who has died in these wars, okay, everyone who has been the victim of a crime from an illegal that has entered this country, all of these deaths, all of this chaos, All of this victimization of people is a direct result of Joe Biden. He is responsible for all of it, not just because he's the president and the buck stops here thing. All of the things that are happening around the world are a direct result of him. All of them. Ramaswamy is about to do himself in. It could not happen to a nicer guy. You know, I've been warning you guys about Vivek Ramaswamy for a long time, and, you know, he's faded away. He's so down in the polls now. And, you know, we're dealing with something in this country, which is a good thing that we've never dealt with before. Cancel culture in reverse against the left for their anti-Semitism, their pro-Palestinian, their pro-Hamas events. And there have been amazing people. There was last week a group of CEOs said that they are going to blacklist those Harvard students who signed off on that petition supporting Hamas against Israel. Right? Listen to this. Yesterday, Vivek Ramaswamy said that companies should not blacklist Harvard students who are members of organizations that co-signed an anti-Israel letter in the wake of the Hamas terror attack on Israel. Ramaswamy posted on Twitter, the Harvard student groups who co-signed the anti-Israel letter are simple fools, he continued, but it's not productive for companies to blacklist kids for being members of student groups that make dumb political statements on campus. He goes on, colleges are spaces for students to experiment with ideas. And sometimes kids join clubs that endorse bone-headed wrong ideas, Ramaswamy said. I've been as vocal as anyone in criticizing left-wing cancel culture, but it's bad no matter who practices it. Well, the reason that Ramaswamy says that, and by the way, I totally disagree with him on that. You know why he says that? Don't black, these are kids, they're young, they did things in college. It's because when he was younger, he was involved in some things, like George Soros' brother paying for his graduate school education. And we've been, when I say we, I don't mean me, I mean people like me. Many people like me, we've been bringing up his past. And he's afraid that that past is going to discount him from having a seat at the table. And it should discount him. There are certain things that when you do them, there's no going back. You can't say, well, when I was in college, I was in the Klan. But after college, I realized I didn't want to be in the Klan. Oh, okay, here, we'll hire you. It doesn't work that way. If you're in a group that is pro-Hamas and anti-Israel, you are in a group that is the equivalent of the Ku Klux Klan. And there's certain things that you cannot come back on. But Ramaswamy is trying to run away from his connections from years ago, the Soros connections. I guess he's afraid more of those are going to come out to more people, so he doesn't want to punish people for what they do when they're young. I disagree with that. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hey, Doug.
Man, you know, I know a Palestinian woman who's a very nice person, but they believe that because their land was taken by the Jews and Israel, that no matter how long it takes and how much bloodshed, they're going to get their land back. So you're right. They got to deport all these people because they're never going to stop the terrorism. You know, and where are you going to deport them? Saudi Arabia has a wall. They won't let them in. So they're going to come to America? This is really insane what's going on here. You know, they got to find someplace, maybe make a deal someplace in that.
Yeah, Syria. No. Listen, all of the Middle Eastern countries are filled with Palestinian people. Send them to Israel. I mean, not Israel. Israel can send them to Syria next door. Israel can send them to Syria. They can send them to Jordan. They can send them to Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi. I don't care. But these are two. Israel should not occupy Gaza. They should just take it and deport everyone from it. There's no ability to coexist between Israelis and Palestinians. It'll never. It's impossible. Yeah, Libya. They go to Libya.
They tried it all these years.
It doesn't work. Like you said, you got to deport them, but who's going to take them? And,
well, I'm in shock that I'm hearing this two-state solution nonsense again. I'm hearing that this morning. Yeah, how's that working out?
Nice. Yeah, if it hasn't worked out, it's never going to work out when you have that attitude that we're taking our land back no matter what. It can't work. You know, now, even New York City now, did you know that FBI was sending out warnings of a potential attack to certain people in New York? Did that before?
Yeah.
It's expanding. It's going to be terrible.
Absolutely.
Friday, I'm going to New York on Friday, so I'm worried that I'm going to have a problem with my plane or something being delayed or something. So who the hell knows?
You know, I was at the airport in Orlando Saturday night, and because I took that Brightline I was talking about earlier to Orlando, and the Brightline station is at the airport in Orlando, and I'm waiting for my train at the airport bar, and there was a family there, and they said goodbye. They were flying to Iran. They were Iranians flying to Iran, and they were like talking about it. Oh man, I hope I get to go to Iran. When I'm thinking, oh my gosh. You know, is this really a way to be talking at the airport during a time like this?
Do some good dumb things. Oh man, they're really looking to get some people to not be too happy with them. But
Yeah.
I don't know why people do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right, Doug, take care. Appreciate the call. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
I think you're going to really love it.
It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Well, let's start.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Check out the Moneymaker Tour of the Poker Room at PBKC October 25th through November 6th, featuring over $650,000 in guarantees. 27 trophy events, including the $200,000 mystery bounty and $300,000 main event. You can also play your favorite casino table games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum 7 days a week. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Are you exhausted after work?
Now, listen, guys. If you've not done it already, order your Mighty Manga Lion. There's a link in the description of the video. I pinned the link in the chat, or you can just go to mightymagalion.com. Order. It makes a great Christmas gift. He's got his MAGA hat on, 45 on the side, cute. Available exclusively through me at mightymagalion.com. We have been shipping these out every single day. I got more going out today, and I've heard such great things from those of you out there that have already received your Mighty Maga Lions. So order yours. Go to mightymagalion.com. mightymagalion.com makes a great gift. You'll love it. And once they're gone, they're gone. It is a limited edition item. They're gone. It is a limited edition item. Oh, man. Beautiful day out. Now, I'm sure you guys that are regular viewers, can you not tell the difference in the quality of the stream? The picture quality is much better. Well, thank you, Charmaine. I'll get back to that, Josh. Oh, yeah, it's a big improvement. And the sound should be better, too, I think. And the sound should be better, too. Oh, the picture's much clearer, yeah. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And everyone, please like the video. That helps a lot. All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. Of course, we're talking about all the happenings, well, over the weekend, and they were many. So, MSNBC, this is really an amazing thing that MSNBC, you got to give the devil their due when they do something. MSNBC has made the most radical change in the history of national television news in this country. Now, when these barbarians drove on these motorcycles and these ultralight paragliders into Israel and started kidnapping, raping, and murdering right out of the Middle Ages. I mean, it was even worse than the Middle Ages. This was like prehistoric barbarism, like cavemen, not even civilized. I mean, you know, barbarians are not civilized, but I think this was less civilized than just your barbarians. It was insane. And, you know, I'm going through, when there's a live event happening, I'm everywhere, right? I'm all over the internet. I'm flipping through all the news on television, flipping here, flipping there. And what they were doing on MSNBC was some of the most disgusting coverage I have seen. And last weekend, on Saturday and Sunday, when the incidents were happening, they had one guy over there, Ali Velshi, it was like PLO TV. I was watching. It was offensive, and I couldn't believe what I was watching. And I knew he was Muslim. And, you know, on the weekends at a place like MSNBC, senior management is not there and things like this, and things might happen during a breaking news event, but it was highly offensive. And then on Sunday, it continued. And I've seen Ali Velshi once or twice have a conservative guest on about things over the years who would bring up that he was Muslim, and, oh, how dare you, how dare you bring that up? That's got nothing to do. Well, listen to this. Sources have confirmed that MSNBC has suspended 3 Muslim anchors amid rising tensions in Gaza. And I didn't realize they had 3 full-time Muslim host over there. I don't know why. 3? I mean, how many hosts do they have, and why are 3 of them Muslims? Ali Velshi, Mehdi Hassan, and the other one, his last name I'm not able to pronounce. Amin, you would recognize all 3 of them. Yeah. They were all quietly, although it's getting some publicity, the 3 Muslims were quietly taken out of the anchor's chair. The left-leaning American News Network did not air a scheduled Thursday night episode of the Mehdi Hassan show and dropped a plan for another Muslim, this Amin guy, to fill in for Joy Reid on Thursday and Friday. So they're going to have this Muslim guy fill in for Joy Reid Thursday and Friday. They pulled him off the air too. Ali Veshi was replaced by another anchor for his weekend shows. MSNBC has pushed back against any notion that they were being sidelined, but sources directly involved within the decision at MSNBC have confirmed the suspension to the media. There's a lot of unclarity over what happens next, says one source, but the mood is very similar to what happened post 9/11 with the whole "you were either with us or against us" argument, the source said. No, I don't remember, do you? I don't remember any news people on any American news outlet being taken off the air. The source went on to say this has gone beyond political views and is targeting anchors of a particular faith. Arab News approached MSNBC for comment, but they didn't respond. Velshi is still reporting on other shows, but he is no longer anchoring his own show. The shows have been suspended with the Muslim host, and the future of the three anchors right now is unclear. Yeah, and I'll tell you something. I know it sounds harsh, but that's the right thing to do. You can't have people on there that have this worldview that they have. And I saw Ali Velshi on Saturday and Sunday last week. I could not believe it was like I was watching the English language version of Al Jazeera cover it. It was really bad. In fact, it was so bad I played clips of that on the air. It was so offensive. And I'm really surprised that, that article I just read was in the Arab English language media. It's called Arab News. It's been reported in some other fringe places, but if you notice, where are all the civil rights organizations? Even CARE, Council of American Islamic Relations, where are the civil rights organizations standing up against NBC News for suspending their Muslim anchors? I haven't seen that anywhere. Have you? No. Which is amazing. And this happened last week. So this wasn't new. This happened the middle of last week. I've known about it since Friday. They've had plenty of time to respond. And there's been no response to it because no one wants to defend them. And they shouldn't. It's a very interesting thing. If this were Fox News and they did it, now that would be a different story. That'd be all over the place. But MSNBC is as liberal Democrat as it gets. And because of that, Democrats, liberals, and sometimes I think it must be so great to be a liberal because they have a complete immunity to do whatever it is that they want. Could you imagine if Fox or Newsmax or OAN removed 3 Muslim anchors from their programs? What the outrage would be like? In fact, what would happen if Fox did this or Newsmax, cable companies would be dropping them. Now, I'm going to give MSNBC credit for doing it, although all this leaked out from sources inside MSNBC, so there's obviously a lot of internal conflict going on at MSNBC over this, and they want to hire them back. But what they were doing was just in bad taste. It was like Tokyo Rose. It was that bad, and I think you all will agree with that. And, people have been saying, Rabbi David said this, he called in on Friday, I asked him about this, and I've heard others say, that the American media has been pro-Israel, but give them a week. Well, here we are, the beginning of week 2, and MSNBC has removed their Muslim anchors from their programs and suspended future shows of theirs. They've taken their shows away from them for one reason and one reason only. Their pro-Hamas stance. And there's a media blackout really on covering it. The only places that have it are fringe media outlets, but it is true, and they've not. Again, they have them on as talking heads, as commentators, as pundits, but no longer hosting. That's a big move, especially for liberals. So they'll have them back, I guess, at some point, maybe. maybe. Now, today is the big speaker's vote, and for all those people who said we couldn't get by without a speaker, it's been a couple weeks now, and life has been fine. I mean, have any of our lives been inconvenienced because we don't have a speaker? We don't have a president, right? We got this senile old coot doesn't know what's going on. But no, they tried to scare us. Oh, the Congress won't be functioning, blah, blah, blah. Here we are a couple weeks later, no speaker. And you know what? I think it's been a better thing. When Congress is not really able to operate, that's better for us. Because when they're operating, they're not doing anything good for you or me. They're doing things for themselves. They're very selfish. They're stealing money and all of that. But there's a big move being made, which I'm going to get into when we get back. I was going to do it now, but I looked at the clock and don't have enough time to get into it. But there's a big move that the rhinos are making, and they're looking to do it in a couple of different ways. And we're going to cover that when we get back. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. Do you hear those sirens? Wow. It sounded like someone was in hot pursuit. There was some very loud sirens just went by the building. The PC police, perhaps? I don't know. Our number's toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. My name is Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. And remember, if you ever miss a portion of the show or a show in its entirety, go to our radio station website, TrueOldiesFLA.com. And at TrueOldiesFLA.com, each and every day around 10, Mike, our board op, uploads our entire show as a podcast, and they're archived there forever. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Brian Craig here. I've been telling you about how my chiropractor, Dr. Philip Appleton, is relieving pain from a knee injury and arthritis pain with his laser away pain treatment. But don't just take my word for it. This is one of our callers who called me live on the radio to tell me how chiropractic physician Dr. Philip Appleton helped him with his laser away pain treatment. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Sean. I'm calling from Boca Raton. I want to thank you guys once again. I've listened to this show since the mid-'80s. Thank you for introducing me to Dr. Appleton, Brian and Steve. I went in there last week. I had a knee problem. One session, I feel so much better. I brought my mother there yesterday. She has a problem with her right side or her arm. She's right-handed. She feels better. It's amazing. And for people out there that are dealing with pain, believe me, there is an alternative. Go in there for the free consultation. FREE free. You will lose. The only thing you'll lose is the pain that you're dealing with. Do not suffer. Go in to see Dr. Appleton. It's the greatest visit of your life.
Give Dr. Appleton a call right now. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonChiro.com. Open Monday through Saturday. Appointments not necessary. And walk.
All right, you should be able to hear now.
954-973-0710.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day. The buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and
Okay.
we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way too.
Go to MyPillow.com and use our promo code Kane to check out KANE and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free, 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane.
Now you can rediscover paradise with Margaritaville at Sea, the only cruise line offering sailings from the port of Palm Beach to Grand Bahama Island. Relish a cheeseburger in paradise at the open-air burger bar. Relax your senses at the Sing Somewhere Spa, or revitalize the night with live musical performances and refreshing Caribbean cruises. From pickleball to piano bar and everything in between. Come see for yourself why guests are loving the newly refreshed Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. Go to margaritavilleatsea.com to learn more and get a great deal on your next Bahamas cruise.
Brian Craig here, telling you about our 5th annual listener cruise. And you're all invited, except Liberal Al. Liberal Al, you're not invited. But the rest of you are. We leave April 27th on board the Celebrity Beyond, the flagship of celebrity cruises. We're going to the ABC Islands, Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba. We have
have shore excursions at every port, and I'll be on them all with you. We'll have dinner together every night, private cocktail parties, we'll go to Broadway shows together, and dance till the clubs close every night. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot and book your reservation. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve King Show is on the air.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. You know, I'm getting to that age now where friends of mine are retiring. Well, it's like every other week I hear from some. Now again, I have some friends, luckily, that are much older than me. Okay, so I'm on the younger end of a lot of my friends, but it makes me feel old. But a lot of them are retiring, and if you are planning on retiring soon, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, tomorrow, at any point in your life, or maybe you're retired already, you need a professional. You need a professional that knows how to handle your retirement. That's what you're going to find with Joe Thomas. He's a financial expert, and he'll give you a plan of action that works. Okay, Joe Thomas is president of Retirement Network Advisors, which is South Florida's premier retirement experts, and they have been for over 20 years. He's seen it all. He's a professional that you can trust, and his company is family-owned and operated. He works with his daughter, Jenny. And, of course, he has his show, the Jupiter Joe Money Show, that he's done for over a decade right here on True Oldies. And Joe Thomas has two incredible offers for you. One, he's offering his book for free to you, which is the Retirement Know-It-All book. And I've read this book a few weeks back. It is a quick read that's filled with very useful, actionable information. So if you go to Joe Thomas's website, jupiterjoe.com, he'll send you that book for free. Just go to jupiterjoe.com and click on the book link. But he's also offering free phone consultations. So I'm going to give you his number, which you can also get off his website if you missed the number. And no matter where you're located in the United States, give him a call, all right? His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. Okay. So today is a very, very big day, okay? Because they're going to do the speaker's vote today. And what's going on with the rhinos, this is a beautiful thing. I'm so glad that this is happening. We purged out that fake Republican, rhino rat Republican against Trump, and now they're pushing others. And 6 Republicans have openly said that they'll work to form a coalition government. Can you imagine? I'm not talking about a parliament in Israel or something, but 6 rhinos, rats, have told the Democrats that they are willing to come together and work with the Democrats to pick the new speaker. Now, this is something that could possibly happen. Who it would be, we don't know. It could end up being Pelosi again at this rate. And some of them you've not heard of the 6, but some of them you have. Mike Rogers, he's that lunatic that lunged at Matt Gaetz back in January over the speaker's vote then. Remember that? He had to be restrained. It was bizarre. One of them's Mario Diaz-Balart, who's one of our South Florida Congress people. I think he's Steve's voice in Congress. And there were others. But they could very well elect a Democrat speaker. And if these rhinos get their way. And I'm so glad, because what's happened here is we're really smoking people out. And then Hakeem Jeffries, who's the Democrat leader, he could end up being speaker. He was on television over the weekend talking about this on the Sunday shows. Yep, hold on. 1 second, guys.
Well, let's start right there. We heard you talking about a bipartisan solution to resolving this stalemate in the House. Are you actually having conversations behind the scenes with your Republican counterparts about trying to create a bipartisan solution, a governing coalition?
There are informal conversations that have been underway. When we get back to Washington Tomorrow, it's important to begin to formalize those discussions. From the very beginning of this Congress, House Democrats have made clear that we want to continue to put people over politics and to fight for things like lower costs, better paying jobs, safer communities, and to build an economy that works from the middle out and the bottom up. On the other hand, House Republicans have been focused on fighting each other. It's time to end the Republican Civil War so we can get back to doing the business of the American people. And we as House Democrats are committed to finding that bipartisan path forward in a meaningful way.
Okay. Now, right now, this is amazing. This is a beautiful thing. Things could not be going better for us. Because, you know, right now, with the MAGA majority, it looks like Jim Jordan's the favorite. But I've been hearing that for a while now, and it hasn't really come to be. And I hope they don't pick a speaker today. I hope it continues, and continues. Because the longer we go without a speaker, the more of these never-Trumpers are going to be smoked out. And you know what? Even if we don't get the speaker, even if it's some rhino snake that builds a coalition with the Democrats and they pick some rhino that was voted in as speaker because Democrats crossed the aisle, that's a good thing. Okay? You know, one of President Trump's main agenda items is draining the swamp. And I don't think he or any of us realized back in 2016 how much draining in the Republican swamp had to be done. And this is the reason this is a beautiful thing is because since the entire House of Representatives is up for re-election with the presidential election, if we have a Republican establishment that works with Democrats to pick a speaker, even if it's a Republican speaker and they worked with Democrats on it, we're going to have a MAGA wave in the Congress and the House of Representatives like we never dreamed of. There's nothing that we agree on with the modern Democrats of today. The Democrats, I mean, I want you to think about how bad it is. It used to be that Republicans and Democrats always had things they disagreed on, but Republicans and Democrats of the past had common things that they did agree on. And there is not one point with the modern Democrat Party that we can agree with them on. They can't even agree about the Pledge of Allegiance. They say the Pledge of Allegiance without God in it. All right? You know, this is the defund the police crowd. So there are certain basic things in our culture that we used to agree on. And the Democrats can't even agree on what a man or a woman is. It never was this bad. There were always lunatic fringe Democrats. And the way it used to work is with Democrats is that when it was in primary season, which we're in now, they would play to this radical activist base so that the activist would support them and come out in the primaries. And then when it was general election time, they'd be a little more coherent. Now what's happened, the radical fringe activists have taken over the party, and they don't have rational people in their party any longer. That's why every time you hear something that Bill Maher says recently, he sounds like a MAGA guy. He really does, doesn't he? And, we look at people like in the Squad. The Squad is a textbook example of what I'm talking about. People that are in the Squad, all of them, AOC to Tlaib and all the others, those are activists. And now since the activists have taken over the party, they've become so extreme, you don't want to work with them on anything. And even on the core issues, abortion, taxation, we're against them on that. They want abortion on demand. They've never been a tax. They don't. But it's beyond that now. It's like, look at this issue in Ukraine and in Israel. Both of these issues. The time for this Ukraine war is over. Okay? I talk a lot about Pavlo in Ukraine, this YouTuber I watch. I saw he had a new video up on YouTube yesterday. He and his girlfriend were painting the new door on the house they're restoring. They're not, and we're seeing what real horrific actions are going on in Israel, and you look at Ukraine, and Ukraine is at peace. And I'll tell you, we're 9 days after that attack at the music festival in Israel. 9 days today is the 9th day. If there were atrocities taking place in Ukraine, Zelensky would have made sure that we've seen it by now, and we haven't, because there aren't any. What I think, obviously there was a hot war in the beginning, but they have a stalemate, the lines of the lines. There's some minor skirmishes, but there's no major conflict going on, or they would show it to us. You don't think Zelensky and his corrupt cronies in Ukraine are in a panic attack? That the money from the United States that they've been stealing from is going to get cut off because the American people are going to demand it? When we see these true atrocities that have taken place in Israel, of course they're in a panic. They would love for us to be able to see atrocities committed by the Russians, and 9 days later, we've seen none. All right? That's how peaceful it is in Ukraine. The Democrats, not just Biden, all the Democrats in Congress, they want to escalate our involvement in Ukraine, which has got to be cut off immediately. The southern border, the Democrats, so these rhinos want to work a coalition out because they hate Trump and pick a Republican rhino speaker with the help of Democrats. How do you do that? How do you have a coalition with people in Congress who do not believe that the United States has a southern border? How do you have a coalition with them? What am I missing? Is there, other than the Democrats and the rhinos hate President Trump, is there anything else that you can say that Republican establishment and the Democrats should be agreeing on? I can't think of anything. It's a coalition based on their hatred of Donald Trump, which is a pretty loose coalition. But I want this to get drawn out as long as possible. I like Jim Jordan, but I really don't want him to be picked as speaker today. I don't want to have a speaker for weeks, because the longer we draw this out, the more we're going to smoke out these fake rhino rat Republicans against Trump. And that's what we want to do. All right, now we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening, 888-465-2631. I am going to recap a couple of things after the top from the 60 Minutes interview with Biden, but I have a whole bunch of other things that I have not gotten into this morning yet as well. And we only have 1 hour to go, so we've got to have a pretty crammed final hour of this Monday morning edition of The Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. We'll be back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3.
Weather
All right. The third and final hour has begun. My name is Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. All right, let me just recap a little bit on this 60 Minutes interview. You know, I know everyone's talking about, and they're going to talk about this 60 Minutes interview today. There's two big takeaways. The first, if you don't know, Biden was interviewed in an infomercial on 60 Minutes. The two big takeaways, I'm going to go through a couple of these clips, but the two big takeaways, one is that Biden is checked out beyond his normal checked outness. I mean, he is just out of it. It's so bad that 60 Minutes actually answers the questions for him. I mean, he's just not fit. We got two front wars going on right now. If you don't include the southern border, if you just talk Israel and Ukraine and Russia, two front war. And the guy doesn't even know what war he's talking about. And the other one is his true focus, which is on MAGA. See, this thing in Congress that I was talking about at the end of the last hour, these rhino Republicans that are trying to form some weak coalition government like they do in parliamentary systems, okay, around the world, like in the UK, Israel, they do this, and Italy and things, you know, they do this. What is getting these rhino rats to work with the Democrats, it's more detailed than just they don't like Trump. They view Trump and MAGA as a threat to this country. You know, when January 6th happened, I knew we were going to be dealing with this. I said the next day, we're going to be explaining and dealing with this for the rest of our lives because the Democrats are never going to let this go. Okay? And everything that the rhinos and the Democrats do, they justify what they do based on January 6th. And in their mind, to allow anyone to become speaker who is backed by Trump or supports President Trump is like, they tell themselves that they're insurrect. You know the whole story. So that's what's holding them together. And they believe, not just the Democrats, but the rhinos as well, Kevin McCarthy and the rest, they believe that MAGA is the greatest threat to the United States that the United States is facing, greater than even climate change. And you know that's like their religion. So let me play these two clips of Biden from 60 Minutes. If you're on hold, stand by, and it'll illustrate what I'm telling you. First, this is Biden giving a warning to Israel about occupying Gaza.
Would you support Israeli occupation of Gaza at this point?
I think it'd be a big mistake. Look, what happened in Gaza, in my view, is Hamas and the extreme elements of Hamas don't represent all the Palestinian people.
Okay. Now listen to this part at the end.
Is Hamas and the extreme elements of Hamas.
Okay, the extreme elements of Hamas. All of Hamas is extreme. There's no such thing as a moderate Hamas. There's not good Hamas and then terrorist Hamas. It's all one big extremist terrorist organization. Now this is another part where he's talking about Republicans and MAGA Republicans. Same interview from 60 Minutes.
Look, this is not your father's Republican Party. 30% of it is made up of these MAGA Republicans who are maybe democracy is something they don't look at it the same way you and I look at democracy.
And hear how asleep he is? So I'm of the opinion, you could agree with me or disagree, but I don't think you could disagree with this. Two things here. One, in his mind, Hamas and MAGA are one and the same. Terrorist organizations. There's good Republicans and then there's evil MAGA Republicans. And he also thinks there's good Hamas and then there's this radical fringe Hamas. He's comparing us, MAGA, and President Trump as our leader to the terrorists that did these terrible things at the music festival and the neighboring towns. And I also believe that if Biden could wave a wand right now, get rid of Hamas or get rid of MAGA, he would get rid of MAGA. All right, let's go to the phones. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Lisa in Texas, Brian.
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah, you're totally right about these, this comment of his Hamas and Hamas are extremists. I mean, it's actually just like saying any fundamentalist Islamist, that there's extremists and then there's not. They're actually, that's their belief is extreme. That's what makes the religion an extremist.
That's right.
It's all like that. They've been taught since birth to first take out the Saturday people and then the Sunday people. That's just it. That's their...
Correct.
And so, and then as far as the MAGA thing goes, MAGA is such a threat to all of the politicians because we want accountability, because we had it with Trump. We actually had a president who got everything done that he said he was going to get done and more. And they hate that because what politicians want is forever to say, oh, we need to keep fighting for this and that. And they never really want to get there.
That's right.
They'll lose their constituency. I can't say that word right now.
Yeah, no, you're right. Do nothing, Republicans.
Do nothing, Republicans. We'll lose our jobs if we get it done. And it's just the most...
I mean, if you go back, before Trump, the last big Republican was Newt Gingrich, passed over. What was the greatest accomplishment of his as Speaker of the House? Does anyone know? Can you tell me? I can't think. I don't remember a darn thing, tell you the truth. No.
They preach and they wail and they complain. It's just hard for me, Levin, I can't stand listening to Levin that much anymore at all because what is he helping with? And all these people's opinions, I'm sick of them. I don't even want to hear them because it's useless chatter.
Well, at this point, because listen, we're a year away from the election, right? A little bit more. I would be very satisfied if some rhino becomes the speaker and he gets just one and does it with even one Democrat vote. I want to see these rhinos smoked out like they've never been smoked out. Let these rhino Republicans form a coalition with these abortion-loving, open border, never seen attacks, they didn't want to raise crew, and elect a bipartisan Republican speaker with the backing of these twisted Democrats that can't even tell you what a man or a woman is. And I think that would be beautiful. And 1 year from now, when it's election time, that'll help. We'll have a much larger majority of MAGA Republicans in the House. So let them do it.
Yeah. I mean, you may be right there because I know that there are so many people here that are sick of this, and even a lot of the people that are coming in, if they're families, they're all. I know a lot of African families that are not happy with the Democrats right now because they have very close families.
Well, yeah.
Values that are much more aligned with conservative values than Democrats.
Yeah, absolutely. So I in a way, and I'm serious about that. Maybe we don't want to have a MAGA speaker right now. Maybe we'll have a stronger MAGA speaker in a year if we let these rhinos form a coalition with the Democrats. That would be beautiful. I can't think of one issue that we agree with on the Democrats. No.
Those guys are mentally, they're destroying our country. And of course, that is their whole thing. Fundamental change, hope and change is to fundamentally change this country into a ragtag third world nation that they can be totalitarian dictators over. That's what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, I appreciate the call. We're going to take our first break of the third hour. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number toll free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call The Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
If you're a business owner with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. And Tom Laporta will give you a free evaluation. Laporta Contracting was voted one of the best general contractor and best roofers in South Florida. He's honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and will never sell you a roof you don't need. If you have an insurance claim, call your insurance company immediately. Then call Tom Laporta.
By the way, Cheryl, thank you. Thank you for that.
Emergency repairs, if it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602.
Oh, if the Republicans, if these rhino Trump haters work with the Democrats to elect a speaker, we'll have the largest MAGA majority we could ever possibly imagine in the House next year. Let them. Let them smoke themselves out. What do you guys think about that? Is that a crazy thought? I mean, they're out there talking about it. Oh, I'd like to see Jim Jordan, but I'd also like to see these rhinos smoked out. Oh no, let it. They're not. They're probably not. They don't have a chance of getting a speaker. But let a vote happen where they work with the Democrats that fails. It'd be beautiful.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen to the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. There's a new ad that's kind of fan-made. It's circulating all over social media, a new Trump ad, and it's pretty good, and it's narrated by Tucker Carlson. Have any of you heard this? Have you seen it? Oh, man, it is a great one. And I'm going to play it for you in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you about the early Christmas slipper sale at My Pillow. You know, Mike Lindell, this is amazing. His My Slippers are so good. I have them. Steve has them. And they're the most comfortable slippers you've ever worn. They're good for all day wear. Calling them slippers does a disservice. But there's an extra special going on for Christmas for the My Pillow My Slippers. They're regularly $139.98, but for a limited time for Christmas, they're available for just $39.98, $100 off. They're designed to wear indoors and outdoors all day long. They're made with the My Pillow foam and impact gel to help prevent foot fatigue, and of course they're made with quality leather suede. There's a whole bunch of new colors in, also new sizes, larger, bigger, and wider for the guys, smaller sizes for women and children. So go to mypillow.com, click on the radio specials, and you'll see this $100 offer off for the My Pillow My Slippers, just $39.98 with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. They make a great gift for Christmas for anyone on your gift-giving list. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. This offer isn't going to last long. You want to order now with the promo code KANE at mypillow.com. Okay, so there's this ad. I found this ad from Bill Clinton rape victim Juanita Broaddrick. I know Juanita Broaddrick. I've interviewed her a few times, and she's a very nice lady. She was raped twice by Bill Clinton, and if you've ever heard her story, it's so god-awful when she tells it. She says he raped her, and then when he could perform again, he did it again. Isn't that something? Oh, my goodness. It's god-awful. God-awful. But Juanita Broaddrick, she may have been a victim of Bill Clinton's, but she's a strong supporter of the MAGA movement. And there's this fan-made Trump ad with Tucker Carlson's voice on it. And it's a beautiful ad. It's really going viral on Twitter or X, whatever you're supposed to call it now. Let me play some of it for you. It's really good. And it explains what these leftists just really hate about the entire Trump MAGA movement.
Millions of Americans sincerely love Donald Trump. They love him in spite of everything they've heard. They love him often in spite of himself. They love Donald Trump because no one else loves them.
See, and this goes back to this 60 Minutes interview last night with Biden. Everything he talked about was Ukraine, this person, that person, South Americans, Venezuela. He didn't talk about anything that involved one American, unless you own stock in the military-industrial complex.
The country they built, the country their ancestors fought for over hundreds of years, has left them to die in their unfashionable little towns, mocked and despised by the sneering half-wits with finance degrees but no actual skills who seem to run everything all of a sudden. Whatever Donald Trump's faults, he is better than the rest of the people in charge. At least he doesn't hate them for their weakness. Donald Trump, in other words, is and has always been a living indictment of the people who run this country. That was true 4 years ago, when Trump came out of nowhere to win the presidency, and it's every bit as true right now. Trump rose because they failed. It's as simple as that. If the people in charge had done a halfway decent job with the country they inherited, if they'd cared about anything other than themselves, even for just a moment, Donald Trump would still be hosting Celebrity Apprentice. But they didn't. Instead, they were incompetent and narcissistic and cruel and relentlessly dishonest. They wrecked what they didn't build. They lied about it. They hurt anyone who told the truth about what they were doing. That's true. We watched. America is still a great country, the best in the world, but our ruling class is disgusting. A vote for Trump is a vote against them. That's what's going on in this country.
Yeah, I mean, and that is going wild on social media, not just Twitter. I've seen it elsewhere too, and it sums everything up. And that's why these Democrats and the rhinos are forming this coalition in the Congress to pick a new speaker. Now, Kevin McCarthy said that Jim Jordan's got the votes and he's going to win it. I don't like that Kevin McCarthy is saying anything nice about Jim Jordan. I like Jim Jordan and everything. But, you know, here's the thing that everyone in Washington is concerned about. Maintaining this fake war in Ukraine and also this, they see a new opportunity in Israel as well. Okay? All they care about is the war machine behind them. That's all they care about. And, you know, the difference between the rhinos and the Democrats is really not that much of a difference. They're all about the same thing. And that's why this is so important. Now, President Trump posted on TruthSocial that, and what we're facing over the next year is insane, okay? I mean, President Trump, he's speaking in Iowa, and he has a 50-point lead in Iowa. And DeSantis, for some reason, is still running. I read this morning that Mike Pence's campaign is so in debt that he gave $150,000 or so of his own money to his campaign, which is that's a big deal for someone like Pence, okay? They're not used to using their own money for anything. I don't know why he did that to stay in the race. DeSantis is doing some good things right now. He brought back some Floridians that were trapped in Israel. He sent planes. He flew them back. He met them at the airport in Tampa. And that's all good. I'm not going to fault the guy for doing something good, but he needs to drop out of this race. I mean, he's 50 points behind Trump in Iowa. But President Trump posted on TruthSocial that Jack Smith is going to that judge in D.C., the one that was the partner at the Hunter Biden law firm, to get a gag order on Trump so that he cannot criticize Joe Biden or any of the other top people that are working against him in the campaign. What Jack Smith is attempting to do today is get a gag order that'll prevent Donald Trump from being able to campaign. And I don't know what they promised this guy, Jack Smith, but they promised him something pretty big to do this. I mean, this is a losing proposition, but this judge in D.C. is a crooked judge. She was Hunter's boss at the law firm where she was an equity partner, which means she took Burisma money. She, when it came to January 6 prisoners, she sentenced defendants who were convicted to harsher punishments than the prosecutors were requesting, which is very much unheard of in these types of situations. And if she makes a ruling that's even milder than what Jack Smith is going in with today, it's going to prevent Donald Trump from doing a lot of his speech making at his rallies. We've never seen anything like this before. And the reason they're going in for this gag order today against President Trump is they see this pro-Israel, anti-Hamas sentiment that's going on in this country as a direct result of Trump. Okay? The silent majority is no longer silent. And they've tried everything to stop him. They can't do it, so now they're going to go to a judge. And I'll tell you, I think he'll defy it. If she gives Trump a gag order in this case in D.C., I think he'll defy it and dare them to arrest him. And that's probably what he'll have to do. All right, now we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
I think you're gonna really love it.
It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. That cold front, first of the season, passed across South Florida yesterday. So as a result, we're starting out in the 60s this morning, down about 5 or 6 degrees over the last 24 hours. And we'll see daytime highs today with bright sunshine and low humidity in the upper 70s. I'm WPBF 25 First Warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Right over in West Palm Beach, that earlier scene on 95 heading southbound at Southern Boulevard has now been cleared from 2 left lanes. We still have an incident on 95 heading southbound at Donald Ross Road. Emergency vehicles are still blocking the off-ramp right lane. Also in Palm Beach Gardens, North Lake Boulevard is shut down eastbound to John Gordon Hunt Club Drive by a multi-vehicle crash. KPGA Boulevard entering that alternate. But we also still have incidents on Military Trail and Investment Lane, also on Sandalfoot Boulevard at State Road 7. This report is sponsored by Florida Power and Light. That's traffic. Chris Bourne.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Check out the Moneymaker Tour in the Poker Room at PBKC October 25th through November 6th, featuring over $650,000 in guarantees. 27 trophy events, including the $200,000 Mystery Bounty and $300,000 main event. You can also play your favorite casino table games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum 7 days a week. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
If you're suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Corey Hennessy, DC Indian Healthcare. Dr. Hennessy, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is actually nerve damage to the feet and legs.
And what are the symptoms?
The major symptoms of neuropathy are numbness, tingling, burning, muscle cramps, coldness in the hands and feet, and problem with balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It is treatable. We've seen some great results.
Call 954-633-7003 today to schedule your nerve damage screening. This screening will tell you if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe that there's nothing that can be done. End-stage neuropathy means people can find to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. Call 954-633-7003. The first 25 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Space is limited. Call 954-633-7003.
Brian Craig here with a question for seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a healthcare advocate at the touch of a button? Would that make life easier for you? You can with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will help you set up doctor's appointments, help with your pharmacy, even deal with your pharmacist to make sure that you have your prescriptions. They'll help you find a doctor, including a specialist. If you've been billed improperly by a doctor's office or a hospital, they can help you with that too. They'll even be your advocate when you're in the hospital to make sure you get the care you need and the care you deserve. And that's just the beginning of what they do. I Will Advocates takes care of all Steve Kane's healthcare issues too, and they can do the same for you. I Will Advocate clients are family, and they go to bat for their family when you need them the most. Call Debbie at I Will Advocates right now. Toll free 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326. Hi, it's Brian Craig. Let me ask you this. Are you planning on retiring in the next 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, at any point in your life? Or are you already retired? Listen, economically, it's a mess. With the stock market ups and downs and inflation out of control. In fact, it's the highest inflation inflation rate in 40 years. You need a plan of action for your retirement plans. You need the advice of a retirement expert who can help you protect your money, guarantee your income, and stop losing money. Joe Thomas is president of Retirement Network Advisors, South Florida's premier retirement experts, and has been for over 20 years. He's seen it all and is a true professional that you can trust. They're family-owned and operated. His daughter Jenny works with him. You know Joe and Jenny from right here on True Oldies. He's the host of the Jupiter Joe Money Show, and he's been doing that for over a decade. You need Jupiter Joe's book, The Retirement Know-It-All. Mention my name, Brian Craig, and receive a free copy of his ebook. Go to jupiterjoe.com or call 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. Take advantage of his free phone consultation, too. Go to jupiterjoe.com or call 561-743-0999. Do you suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you do and you don't even know it. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, or tingling in your hands and feet? Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching? Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, welcome back. It is Monday. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Mike from Houston. How are you?
All right, what's up?
Okay, just wanted to mention about Joe Biden's interview the other night. Actually, I think it was last night. I just happen to have been watching. Winston Churchill is one of my favorite historical figures. And I was listening to the speech that he gave, I guess it was on the afternoon of May 10th when he was accepted the prime ministership. You know, that's the speech where it's like, we will fight them on the beaches, we will fight them with the growing.
Yeah.
And then juxtapose the strength and confidence in that voice with the rambling, practically inaudible discursive dialogue of Joe Biden last night. I mean, that guy, he made a remark about, this is not your father's Republican Party. Well, he's not my father's leader. He's not.
Well, when he talks about your father's Republican Party, he was always look. That would be the Clarence Thomas generation, and look how he treated Clarence Thomas. Since when all of a sudden were there good Republicans to Joe Biden, right? I mean, that's just an absurdity. But, you know, this interview last night, which was frightening, it was journalistic malpractice, 60 Minutes. I mean, it's insane. Every death in Israel is a direct result of him and his weakness. You know, there's good presidents and bad presidents, and we have bad presidents and we don't support them, and I don't support them. But this is different. Because these evildoers around the world know that we've got a senile old coot who takes bribes as president, who wears adult diapers and couldn't even get through an interview on 60 Minutes that was recorded without them giving him the answers. So they have no fear of this country any longer. That's all. They have no fear of us, so they're running amok.
It's just shocking that he is the leader of the United States of America. Watching that interview, just the other thing that does worry me is that statement he made where he kind of cautioned Israel. That's kind of a win for the Hamas, Iran, Hezbollah axis.
Let's clarify what you're talking about, because I was talking about this in the first hour. I played the clip again earlier too, but Biden warns Israel against occupying Gaza. I mean, my goodness, they come across Gaza. They did everything they did, and he's sending out warnings to Israel, Joe Biden, and you're right, it emboldens Iran, Hezbollah, and all the other terrorists around the world that we've got the Jews under control here, because I'm telling them, you know, and that's an endorsement of the Hamas position.
And then just maybe last week he was saying, you know, we've got your back, we will stand by. Let me tell you something. When Joe Biden has your back, you better be worried, because he's putting a bullseye on.
He only has your back when you're paying him. And, you know, listen, what he sees, I read this morning that, you know, Biden has given $2 billion to Afghanistan since our withdrawal, after we gave them all that military equipment. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not being widely reported. It's in Front Page Magazine.
This is what I don't understand is we have all this money flowing to all these other places around the world, and I'm pretty sure that that money could be better used here in the United States. And this is one of the things that worries me. By the way, one of the things that has worried me is never lose sight that Iraq is the golden ring for Iran, and I can't help but feel that their ultimate objective is to destabilize Iraq sufficiently where they can introduce their own people, just like they did with Lebanon.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. You know, so listen, here's what's going on. Okay, Biden sees an opportunity to feed the military-industrial complex by arming up Israel even more, just like he's doing Ukraine. That's all they see this as a money-making opportunity. That's it.
thing I'll say and get out of your hair is that I would love to know the state, that just how stocked our depots are at this point.
All the reports say that we're low on many supplies, which we should not even know about because that should be classified. But the reports are that we're low on everything because we're sending everything to Ukraine.
Yeah, I believe it. So, but anyway,
All right. I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, Brian. It's Dave in Virginia.
Hey, Dave. What's up?
Hey, that gag order in New York they're trying to put on Donald Trump, that's just for New York, correct?
No, this is the D.C. case where they're going for the gag order, and that's the January 6th case. And Trump says that gag order would tell him he couldn't talk about Joe Biden, who he's running against.
Well, maybe in D.C., but the rest of couldn't he do it in the rest?
No. First of all, that's a federal court which covers the whole country. It's a federal judge.
Okay. Well, I was hoping.
No, there's no hope. I mean, they're gonna. This is I in a way, I know this. Some people think I'm nuts, but in a way, I hope that crooked judge puts a gag order out there. People need to see what this is all about. He'll defy it. He's got to defy. How can he run a campaign without talking about Biden and the weaponization of the Justice Department? It would prevent him from talking about Biden, Merrick Garland, the Justice Department, which includes the FBI. I mean, are you kidding me? And what happens a lot of times, obviously the judge isn't going to give Jack Smith everything he wants there. But she very well could come back with a more mild gag order than what is being asked for. But that's how you get things done. You ask for a lot more than you really want, so that you get a little bit of it, and then which is the stuff you really only wanted anyway. No, this is an awful situation we're in.
I know it. I hate it.
All right. I appreciate the call, but we did have one victory in Louisiana with Jeff Landry, and Jeff Landry. Now we got a Republican governor in Louisiana replacing a Democrat, and this is an interesting race because we didn't just win. This was a four-way race. It was an open race. There were 3 Republicans and 1 Democrat running in Louisiana, and Jeff Landry won with 51.6% of the vote. But the other 2 Republicans got less than 6%. One got 5.9, the other one got 5.3. So in a situation like that, the Democrat, you would think, would have the advantage because the Republican vote is split. The Democrat, now keep in mind, Jeff Landry in a 4-way race with 3 of the 4 being Republicans, Landry got 51.6% of the vote. The Democrat, 25.9% of the vote in Louisiana. This is an amazing thing, and it shows you how red the country's gone. And Kari Lake, who has announced she's running for Senate and Sinema's seat in Arizona, which typically might be a difficult thing, with how Arizona operates. But what's going on in Arizona that's going to benefit Kari Lake is Sinema left the Democrats and became an independent because she was afraid she'd lose the Democrat primary, which would be a humiliation. So she's running as an independent. and there's a Democrat. So the Democrat vote in Arizona, the anti-MAGA vote, I should say, is going to be split between Sinema and this Democrat. And so it's perfect for Kari Lake to come in and have a massive victory, just like Jeff Landry did in Louisiana, which is really an amazing thing that the Democrat got so few votes. It's because of everything that's going on in this country. The Democrats are to blame for it, and the American people know it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Patty from New York.
Hey, Patty, what's up?
So I just need to comment on that interview with Biden.
60 minutes?
Yes, and, you know, the thing that I want to point out that, you know, of course he's not going to notice it because he can't, I don't think he notices much, but, you know, how many Republicans do you see defecting and going over to the Democrat Party? When he says that the Republican Party is not your father's Republican Party, you know, more Democrats say that about the Democratic Party than you ever hear anyone saying about the Republicans.
Well, unfortunately, it may not be a movement, but we have Republican rhinos in Congress that are working with the Democrats to pick a new speaker other than Jim Jordan. They may not be successful, but there's some of that. Well, you know, what he means that this isn't your father's Republican Party, I talk about this a lot. Republicans used to be losers and didn't stand up and win anything. Republicans spent most of their time apologizing.
Right, the Republicans, the rhinos are the leftover Republicans from our father.
But here's the problem. The big rhinos are. I can hear that rooster in the background that you got there. The rhinos are a poison, in our society. But the problem with the rhinos is they're embedded in control. They control the primary process a lot in a lot of these states. Okay, and you know by the time we get to the primary here in Florida, DeSantis is going to be out of the game. He doesn't want to lose in Florida. I mean, he doesn't want to be humiliated that bad. But Ron DeSantis, for example, has a lot of control over the Republican primary. He was trying to push through this loyalty oath and making Donald Trump sign a loyalty oath. Remember that he would endorse any Republican who won, all these things. So these rhinos like Ron DeSantis, they're not just going to sit back and say, well, he's 50 points ahead. They got a lot of control over the primary process and at the convention, where they may very well try to go for a brokered convention. Look at how they're behaving with the speaker's fight. These rhinos, you think they're just going to sit back and say, okay, Trump won all the primaries, he's going to get the nomination? No, they're going to go for a brokered convention.
Yeah, so they're going to do everything they can. But you know what? A lot of the rhinos have been primaried out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, the thing is it takes time to do it. And I think this time around, like with Kari Lake, she's in a very good position now to get on top in there.
Yeah.
As long as it all boils down to fair election.
Well, when they do, well, what you've got to do is it's what President Trump says. You got to swamp them. You got to have overwhelming turnout. And in instances like in Arizona, where the Democrat vote is split between two people, Sinema and this Democrat that's running in the Senate seat, a massive Republican voter turnout, Kari Lake will walk into it because they're splitting their vote. That's why I'm so excited that Bobby Kennedy went third party. It will help us, not as much as in Arizona, but it will help us a little bit. All right, listen, I'm going to run for our break, but thanks for the call. We'll take our last break and be back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on the...
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca for the first gold and precious metals report of the week. William Youngerman, how the metals starting the week off?
Metals giving us a little buying opportunity this morning, at least, after Friday's huge gain, $64.10 up on Friday, closing out the week on gold at $1,932.60. That's after trading in a range Friday of $1,868 all the way up to $1,933 and closing right on the highs. Silver was up 93 cents on Friday, closing out at $22.74. Platinum gained $15 at $881. And palladium was up $12 at $1,130. Overnight, we saw gold trading as low as 1908, which is to be expected. We would think of a little bit of a pullback after a $64 gain just in one day. But it's pushing its way back up. At the high so far this morning is 1928. Currently $1,920 on gold, down $12.50. Silver down 13 cents at $22.60 the ounce. Platinum up $4 at $885. And palladium down $8 at $11.22. So a little bit of a pullback. You got to buy these little dips. They may not last long, as we've seen in the past.
Absolutely, and today is a great day to buy gold. Now, how's it looking in silver? What are some of the better buys in silver right now?
Pretty much everything in silver is on sale as far as the premiums are concerned, and silver is still very reasonable price, down over 10% from its highs this year, so still a good buy.
Yeah.
$130 away from its all-time.
Wow, I know, it's awesome. Listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Online at williamyoungerman.com or give him a call toll-free 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, we'll touch base tomorrow.
Okay, have a great.
All right, back after this. All right, we are back. We've covered a lot today, and this was a busy, busy weekend of news, no doubt about that. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Bill from Sanford.
Hey, Bill, what's up?
Well, it's great that we got Louisiana, but in a few weeks they're going to be electing a governor in Kentucky. Right
now, as a Democrat, and is running against him. Now, I mean, Bencher, the incumbent Democrat governor, has a pretty good lead, but the polls don't always show it from what I've read.
Well, we're not going to win everything, and whatever we don't win is what the media will grab onto and make a big deal out of. But, yeah.
I mean, that's great. I mean, if we can get, because it's important that, especially if Mitch gets sick next year, and we have governor.
Oh, yeah.
You can get a Republican.
Well, the thing about it is, because a lot of people may think I'm harping on this speaker thing too much and about dragging it out. See, what this speaker fight is doing is smoking out these rhinos and these Democrats, and it's really motivating Republicans, MAGA Republicans, to vote. That's why we did so well in Louisiana.
Well, there's no doubt that
Trump will support their opponent in next year.
Yeah,
and hopefully get these rhinos out.
I know. Yeah,
he's probably supported every Republican in the House to begin with.
Yeah, I know.
I hope come through and do what's right.
Well, it'll be interesting. Ron DeSantis here in Florida, he every once in a while he'll do something. He brought a bunch of Floridians back that were stuck in Israel, and he's getting some press. And he says, don't bring it. He says all Palestinians are anti-Semites. They shouldn't come to this country. Don't let Ron DeSantis make you think that he's turned a new leaf. He's still running against Trump, and yeah.
He's at the highest level he'll ever be, and he's doing great at that job. And I agree with you. Give him the attaboys when they do something. But president, no, doesn't have a chance.
No, and you're going to see a lot. You're going to see a lot of these rhinos like DeSantis try to use like this. Like right now, and it's a great thing. The trend in this country is to support Israel, which is very unusual, guys. I've been telling you this all week. It's very unusual, and DeSantis is trying to get on that train. Don't let him fool you. He's still what he is.
All the conflicts that I remember, I'm old, but yeah, you're right about the major media was not always behind Israel. I mean, they and that was for doing the same thing he's doing now.
Well, what they would do anytime. sadly, I mean, every day or two we would hear these homicide bombings, right? And all that during that era, during the Clinton era. And what the media would always do is push Israel to make deals. You know, you're hearing a little bit of it now. Some people are talking about the two-state solution again, right back from the 90s. But there's no deals to be made. And when Biden in that 60 Minutes interview, I think that might be one of those things they walked back when he talked about Israel should not occupy Gaza. Israel should take Gaza back, annex it to Israel, and deport all Palestinians out of it and out of their borders. That's it.
I mean, they have to just get rid of it. I mean, they're like Netanyahu said, we don't want to mess with them anymore.
No. And you know what's going on in Israel is it's not going to end in 6 weeks or 6 months. There's going to be an escalation of violence against Israel for years to come now after this. The way that Hamas came in last Saturday was something like we've never seen before, and those guys are not just going to give up, even when Israel wins over Gaza. It's just not. It's not going to happen. And to have an area, Gaza, for them to regroup in after this military conflict is over is an insane requirement that Joe Biden made on 60 Minutes last night.
Yeah, that's Biden's just a loser.
Well, no, but he and his people are running things. I mean, think about it. What he was talking about on 60 Minutes was the sovereignty of the Palestinian territory in Gaza and their border while we're being overrun. It's just not going to fly.
No, not. And we got to take them out.
All right. I appreciate your call. Thanks so much. By the way, we've had great calls today, and maybe a little more intellectual on some of the calls than we normally are. But these are serious times we're in. You know, there are times when the issues are going on, and it's okay to have some fun and games. But we're in a real struggle to maintain our country right now with what's going on with Joe Biden. And that 60 Minutes interview could not have happened at a better time. It really couldn't. And there was nothing positive in that interview for Biden. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Sandra from Boca. How are you?
All right, Sandra. What's up?
Well, it looks like, the way I look at it, first of all, that interview with Biden I didn't see, so thank you for doing clips today of that. The reality is there. And, I just wanted to comment on that first. But the other thing I wanted to comment on is that people, now it's like the script is being flipped a little bit. It's like everything now is about Gaza. Obviously, I have a human heart. I'm Christian, and I feel bad for all the people that are suffering out there. But Hamas knew how Israel was going to react to this. So when you go into somebody's country and you start bombing and doing all these kinds of things, they knew Hamas.
I totally disagree with you. I talked about this last Monday because that was our first weekday after this. This is what Hamas has always done, and Hezbollah and all these groups. This was the first time that they operated with the new technology we have where everyone has a high-definition camera on them. And when they hit that music festival, the mistake they made that's turned the world against them was hitting that music festival. It was a music festival attended by people 25 and under for the most part. All of them had their cell phones on recording for Instagram at this all-night music festival, and they hit with hundreds of people with their cell phone cameras on. And the horror was caught on camera as opposed to it being relayed days later during an interview. And I don't think if they had done the exact same thing 20 years ago, people would be outraged, conflict would be going on, but there wouldn't be as much outrage against Hamas as we're seeing now because the world has never seen them in action like they did last weekend. So no,
The point that I'm trying to make is that Hamas doesn't care about their own civilians. They knew exactly what we were doing.
Oh, no, they don't care about their civilians. Yeah, that's right. They're making them human shields. That's correct. Yes, you're right about that. You're absolutely correct. They have no problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, you see your children suffering. You see all these people suffering. But what business did you have to go into somebody else's country, and it is a country, and start taking out young people and brutalizing people and murdering people?
Yeah.
It's a very hard thing to digest, but it's the truth. So it's like I see, that I don't know. I mean, what's going on with Egypt? Are they going to let some of them in, hopefully? Hopefully there's...
Well, they shouldn't be given a choice. I mean, the United States, the reason that we give so much foreign aid to these terrible countries like Egypt, okay, is so that we have control over them. And if we call upon you to do something and you cut off the funding, that's how Trump got the borders shut down. Remember? And so you don't ask Egypt, you tell them. After they're there, after you fly them in, and they're yours now. You don't ask. They don't have rights to refusal, or we cut off all foreign aid.
Well, you know what? It's like you look at Israel, it's like they're smaller than Ecuador.
Well, I don't know how big Ecuador is. I mean, the references I hear all the time is small, about the size of New Jersey.
About the size of New Jersey?
Yeah.
I think that they have made efforts to try to do a two-state solution, refusal. It's always refusal.
Because they don't the reason that there's a when they were pushing that stuff during the Clinton era, the reason that they refused it is because they don't want peace. They just want to kill Jews. They don't want to have a two-state solution. Because then there'd be no war, and that's not what they want.
There's a couple of people that work with me that actually think that Israel ignited this whole thing.
They're insane.
That's the same thing I've ever heard in my whole life.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah. That's.
Nothing happened to be working that day. Well, we had 9/11, and we're the greatest superpower in the world. So obviously,
when there's a sneak attack, I don't know how smart it is to have a party on the border of Gaza. I mean, I wouldn't be having parties along the borders of Gaza, but I mean, me, but Steve and I were offered an opportunity to a couple years back to take a group of listeners to Israel, where they were going to take us to the Syrian border and show us around. And Steve and I thought that was the most insane, dumb thing to do with listeners, to take us to the border of Syria and Gaza. And they wanted to pay us money to do it. It wasn't just a vacation. They wanted to pay us money to do it. And Steve said, how are we going to take a bunch of... There had been some stabbing attacks not long before. He's like, how are we going to take a bunch of our listeners to Gaza and to Syria? I mean, that sounds insane to me, and it sure does.
That somebody was kidnapped and killed there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, hey, listen, appreciate the call. Okay. All right, take care. We only have a minute to go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Oh, that's more than enough time for you.
Well, the Nazi state of apartheid Israel is going to be the next Rhodesia.
I don't know, whatever that means. Whatever that means. All right. I would thank you for your call, but if I did that, I would be lying. Oh, my goodness. Boy, oh, boy. Listen, everyone, we'll be back tomorrow. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. Pretty amazing, huh? Now, remember, if you missed a part of the show or an entire show, go to our radio station website, trueoldiesfla.com. And each day at around 10 a.m., at trueoldiesfla.com, our board op Mike uploads the entire radio show as a podcast, and they're archived up there forever. trueoldiesfla.com. All right, it's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump.
WSFS 104.3.
All right, guys, I will see you all later. Keep an eye out for a podcast later today. And I hope you all like the new camera and the new angle. I'm still getting used to it, but this is what I'm going to use moving forward. Take care. Oh, I got to take it off here to do it. Hold on. All right, hold on, guys. Here we go. All right. I'll see you later. Take care. Thanks for watching.